Hello, today I'll be discussing all things book related from A through Z. So let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Michelle, otherwise known as Book with Smitty, and today I will be doing an A to Z book tag / survey where I'll be answering questions corresponding to every letter of the alphabet about my reading habits. So let's get into it. Okay, so I like to use my interactive templates. This is the flip tiles one, and I'm going to use this for my A to Z book tag / survey where all the letters of the alphabets are here. Now, normally I would do some little random spinner kind of thing, but it's A to Z, so I got to I got to open every single one of the alphabets, so there's no need to randomize it. But if you wanted to use this for something else, you could random spinner or shuffle it. All right, so let's get started with letter A. So A is for author you read the most books from, and that would be Sue Grafton. Now, my mother used to read Sue Grafton books, so that's one of the first adult books that I read. Adult being that the bigger books that I read, and Sue Grafton is a cozy mystery writer who is also known for the alphabet mystery writer because she writes A is for alibi, B is for burglar, C is for corpse. So there's one letter for every letter of the alphabet. She got all the way to Y. Unfortunately, she passed away and didn't get to do Z. So this is the author I read the most book from because I read up to J. Life happened and I never could get to the rest of the alphabet. So eventually one day I will get to the rest of the alphabet. All right, B is for the best sequel ever. So the best sequel ever is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. There's another one called As Good as Dead. So I can't wait to start reading that one. But this is basically a small town mystery and where what the main character who was a high school student in the first book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, she does a project, her senior thesis project, where she is trying to solve the murder mystery that took place the year before in the town. And so this was a really good sequel. So, yep. D. All right, D is for drink of choice while reading. So I love all things coffee. So usually what happens is I start off in the morning with a big giant cup of coffee. By the afternoon it's lukewarm. And so then I put in the refrigerator, and then by the nighttime I have the rest of it iced coffee. So yep, drink of choice is coffee. Let's go to the next one. E-reader or physical book. Hands down, physical book. Let me tell you something. There's something about holding a book, turning the pages, the smell of the pages, putting a bookmark in between. Now, I know you can put an electronic bookmark in an e-reader, but that's not the same because you can't physically tell where you're at. And here's another thing I love about books. Like, you can put all these tabs in it, and I know you can take notes on the e-reader also, but it's different when you can see the tabs where they're at and physically know, well, let me go to pink and see what I wrote for pink, and so the physical book is always going to hands down be my option. F is for fictional character you probably would have actually dated in high school. That's just not me. So I have no fictional character I probably would. There's none. Next one is G. All right, so G is for glad you gave this book a chance. Let me see. I know a book. I'm so glad I gave a chance. That is The Assassin Blade by Sarah J. Maas. So I recently I attempted to read this Throne of Glass, and it went over my head. It was too complex for me. I DNF'd that book, and then upon my research, I saw that Assassin Blade is really the prequel to Throne of Glass. Okay, so the hidden gem for me is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, which led me to Clock When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. So I saw this book for a while and put it off because the Poet X, all I saw was poet, and I thought the book was nothing but a bunch of poetry. But I ended up reading this book to fulfill a prompt, and I love the book. So it's really a novel in verse. Okay, so I is for important moment in your reading life, and it will be the fact that I discovered book groups and book challenges. So, as a kid, teenager, young adult, I read the same kinds and type of books. So Sue Grafton was the mystery that I went to because I knew it because my mom read it. So if you're not telling me about the book, I'm not searching for it or anything like that. I'm sort of what's called a safe reader. So when I joined the 52 Book Club and learned about the 2021 52 books in 52 weeks challenge, it inspired me to do a whole bunch of other challenges because it totally changed how I read. It changed how much I read. So like so far this year, I've read 96 books, all because I'm looking for books that fulfill a prompt. And I even made a video, Pop Goes the TBR, because I found all these challenges. And I even did a video, Pop Goes the TBR, and I'll put that link below, where I show you how I come up with the books that I read for the next month using all these interesting prompts that I found all over through my search. So it's an important moment in my life because it really changed the trajectory of how and how much I'm reading. Okay, so I did some elimination. I got rid of the first row, and now I'm going to work on the second row. So the book that I just finished actually is Legendborn. I finished it 2 days ago, and so you see on my little tabs because fantasy can be a little difficult for me because of the language in it, because I'm a newbie fantasy reader. But this book was actually pretty good. If you think about schools and you think about secret societies within a school, that's what this book is pretty much about. So yeah, this was Legendborn. And let's go to the next letter. We're up to K. So what kind of books won't you read? Oh, it's horror. Yeah, I don't even understand how. She tried to get into it because I figure I love mysteries, and horror is sort of like the next phase up in the mystery. But I was like, yeah, no. Too much for me, too much for me. All right, so the next one is L, the next letter. So the next letter is L. The longest book you've read. What is the longest book I've read? Okay, so the longest book that I've ever read was Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. M. All right, so M is for the major book Hangover because of, oh my gosh, that would be Slay. Like I read Slay, I'm going to say 2 weeks ago, and I'm still talking about Slay. I'm mad that Slay didn't make the top 100 YA books. I'm mad that they didn't make the list. She didn't make the list because this book was like fabulous, hands down. Like, yeah, I'm even thinking about like how I can get my kids to read it, my students to read it. It's just that good. N. Okay, N is for the number of bookcases you own. So yeah, I don't have like one of those big monstrous bookcases. I have one bookcase that's like this high, and then I have like several little mini bookcases all over this place. So let's combine it together to say 3 bookcases. O. All right, always for one book you have read multiple times. You know what? I'm not a multiple book reader. I just don't, because you know what it is. Although you know what it is, I'm the type of person that once I've read it, I know what the story is about, and I will just scan the next time I read. I won't read with intent, and so I don't want to be that person that reads. I can't be that person. I'm just not that person that can read a book multiple times. So no. My preferred place to read, right here on the couch. Look, I am not that person that's going to get up, get dressed, go sit outside and read a book. Or go, that is not me. Right here on the couch. That's all I need to do. That's it. Okay, so Q is for a quote that inspires you, gives you all the feels from a book you've read. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't have a quote that. Yeah, I just don't. You know what? Maybe I should. Yeah, I just don't. I don't. I don't have. I don't. R. Let R is for my reading regret. Okay, so my biggest reading regret is that I stopped reading. I took like this big reading hiatus. I used to be an avid reader as a kid, as a teenager. You know, as a kid, I was the one that was reading Under the Sheets with a Nightlight. And then as a young adult and a teenager, I read a lot on the train when I was going to school. But then I became an adult. I had a full-time job and I got a car, and then I wasn't on a train, so I had no time or place to read a book, and I just stopped reading. So that is my biggest reading regret, that I never made time for reading. S. Okay, S is for a series you started and need to finish all the books in the series, and that is the Sue Grafton series. I have to one day finish that Sue Grafton series. I started this, I kid you not, started this series way back in high school. I mean, I am almost 50 and still have not finished the series, not because it's hard, not because it's nothing. It's just for the fact that I get into a book and then I get into life and then I forget about the book. Okay, so T, the letter T. 3 of your all-time favorite books. Without a doubt. My all-time favorite books as of this year, without a doubt, is Slay, Concrete Rose, Amari and the Night Brothers, and I'm giving for the Poet X an honorable mention. I mean, look, I read 96 books so far this year, and out of 96 books, about 25 of them were 5-star books. It's hard to choose an all-time favorite, but these are the books that give me all of the feels, all of the feels. Like, I mean, I even took the time to put them on the highest pedestal that they deserve. All right, so you, unapologetic fangirl for. If I were a fangirl, it would be Slay. It just would be. Very excited for this release more than any. Very excited for this release more than all the others. Yeah, I'm not the one that's looking for a release to come out. Look, I got so many books in here that have already been released that I haven't read. So when a book comes out is when it comes out, and that's it. I don't. All right, so my worst bookish habit, if it's a bad habit, I don't know, is the fact that I can never read a whole entire book in its entirely, like at one time. So what I mean is that, like, I could take out from the New York City Public Library, right? And then I would read chapter 1 of that book. Then I would go to the next one and read chapter 1 of the next book. Then I would go and read chapter 1 of the next book, because I couldn't wait to read all the books. I didn't know which book to read first, so I would read a little of each book and then go down the line and then go to chapter 2 of all the other books. So I'm not sure if it's the worst bookish habit, but maybe I do. I do find that I have to reread a lot because it's been so long since I read the book. So in that sense, it's a worse habit for me. X marks the spot. Start at the top left of your shelf and pick the 27th book. Alright, so X marks the spot on Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahoran. I bought this book really because the cover is so beautiful. I haven't read it yet, so I'm not even sure what the book is about. But that is the 27th book. And let's go to letter Y. Your latest book purchase. Oh my gosh, let me tell you about my latest. I can't even show you one because Barnes and Noble. Okay, let me tell you about my latest book purchase. I mean, I can't even just show you one because Barnes and Nobles had the whole entire nerve to have a 50% off. So I went there not once, not twice. Yeah, I was gonna say 3 times. No, twice. I only went twice. I went twice. And so now I have like 20 plus books on my table that I don't have a space for because like I said, I don't even have that many bookshelves. So yeah, so let me show you. Snatcher book, last book that kept you up way late. Alright, so that would be Legend Born by Tracy Dion. And it's not even for like the usual reasons that would keep you up reading a book. Now, if you for the real reason, like Slade kept me up because I was like, I have to find out what is going on in this book. I need to know. So I mean, so that was intentional, but this Legend Born was not intentional. I promise you that because okay, I've said it before. I read with the actual book. Plus, I read with the audiobook. So, and I borrow my audiobooks from Libby. If you don't know Libby, Libby is an app where you can borrow books from your local library. And you can either borrow the ebook or you can borrow the audiobook. So, I always get the audiobooks and I listen to it along with the actual book. So, now, mostly for books like fantasy, nonfiction, books that I know is going to be harder for me to focus. I need the audio to go with it. And so Libby got the whole entire nerve to tell me I got 2 days left now on your to return it. And if you have the Libby app, you know that you can see how many people are waiting, and if somebody's waiting for it, then you can't renew the book. So I was like, oh dang, I got 2 days left for this audio book, and I am not reading this book without the audio. So I stayed up the whole entire night to finish this book so that I could return it before my audio expired, and because I was not reading this book on its own. I'm just not like my brain is too old. It's not set up for a single reading. I need the actual book and the ebook. That's just what I do. So yeah. So I have just completed my A through Z book tag. I hope that you've learned something interesting about me and my reading habits. And you like what you if you like what you see, don't forget, please hit the like and subscribe. Like you gotta do both. You can't just do one. Like you can't just hit the like. You gotta hit the like and subscribe. And come on back. Have a blessed day.